Hello and welcome to Rebel Finance School, the very, very last session of this year's course.
Quite sad.
It is very sad.
We've done 33 sessions. I was looking at the playlist.
33.
33. Have you been to every single one of them? Have you spent that many hours with us? And you're still here for more. I'm like, hats off to you.
We are so glad to have you here. This is going to be a really fun session because we asked you to ask us anything. And boy, did you really ask us anything. You did not hold back with your questions. We are super excited to answer them all and get into them. You may hear from my voice that my voice has gone a little bit. Unfortunately, the Panamanian restaurant on the way on our trip gave me food poisoning. And I spent 7 hours on a flight, not really enjoying life. And I think the acid burnt my vocal cords a bit. And I can't talk as well as I used to. But we'll be fine, and we will keip going because it's all good.
Is it painful for you to talk, or are you going to be okay?
I don't know. We'll see how far I get. It'll be fine.
If we're looking up, it's because we have you on our screen above you looking at all your comments.
Which actually was the very first question.
It was Dippin, wasn't it? I hope I'm saying your name right, Dippin. Sorry if I butchered that. They say, you're both always looking at us. Can we see behind the scenes? What does it look like to look at us? Now, you might notice if you've been into the rest of the course that we're in a different place to normal. So this background is going to look very different. The setup is going to look a little bit different. But actually, like, you can see the kind of vibe that we go for. Someone said you're sat on the wrong side and it's very off-putting. because I normally sit that side, don't I?
I know. So here you go. I've got my iPhone out so you can see Katie there.
Yeah, so we'll do like two setups. So Alan has his laptop, which he normally presents the slides from, and then I will have my laptop with like the slides as well, but not presenting, so we can see what's coming up. So when you're like, oh, how do they know what they're saying next? It's because we have it in front of us here on my screen. And then we link up to a big screen. This one is bigger than usual, but that's why we're always looking up when we're looking at your questions. So we've got the YouTube chat on the left, the Zoom chat in the middle, and then the Q&As on the right from Zoom. So like, there's a lot going on because we've got like 3 screens and different windows and things. But I think with the beauty of there being 2 of us, we're able to whilst one of us is presenting and making sure like we're talking to you, the other one of us can be looking at the questions that are coming up and seeing what's going on or seeing what's coming up on the next section of the content. So that's what it looks like.
Emma says, is the TV part of the Airbnb place, or do you carry this big screen around with you?
We don't carry this around over Mark said the same way. TV came with the room, yes. We will plug into whatever TV. You can show that we've got the HDMI cable. There's an HDMI cable here between my laptop and the TV. So that's what we do. So most places we say have a TV, so you can just link up to the TV.
Yeah, and this is our new Airbnb that we've just moved into.
Straight into show and tell.
Show and tell. Well, I was like, how can I actually show people what's going on? And I thought I'd get my phone out. So there you go. That's what we have been up to, and that is exactly what happens. That's how the magic happens. So you can see behind the scenes in the Donegan world.
Spoonsby says, did you make peace with your neighbour after last week's session? So maybe give some context as to what happened for those of us that were not there.
It was making a large amount of noise through the wall, very thin walls in the hotel. And instead of knocking on our doors going, why are you loud? He would just like shout through the walls. So I went round afterwards and said, live stream's over. Sorry about this. We made friends. But he did continue to passively aggressively make noise through the walls. So we're very glad we were leaving. But that's one of the nice things of living in a hotel is if you have bad neighbours, they change in about 3 days in general. So you just get rid of them. It's fine.
Sari said, what's on my lap? I actually have my jumper on my lap because I was a little bit chilly, obnoxiously, from being in LA, it's a chilly place. We have different temperature requirements in the Donegan household between us. Getting some nods there from the couples, the male-female couples that understand the temperature differential between men and women. That's a massive, gross generalisation, but in my experience, it seems to be quite true.
I'm constantly hot. Doesn't matter. Okay, so what we wanted to do, we've taken all the questions you've sent in, we've put them into a flow, we've read them all, and we've created answers. And we thought we'd start with a question from Heather to start with.
What does Heather? Shall I read it?
Yes.
Alan.
Yes.
When you were younger, I heard that you were shy and more of an introvert. How did you become such a confident and engaging speaker? What was your journey, and how did you overcome the voice in your head that was trying to hold you back?
So Heather, first off, thank you for the compliment about being a good speaker. I don't know if I can do it tonight. I'm going to give it my best shot. But basically, when I was at school, I was heavily bullied for being overweight, fat, and for glasses. They weren't very creative. I was fat and 4 eyes, and my nickname at school was Fatal, which was actually quite creative.
That is very creative.
So that's what they called me, and I hated it. I hated school. I hated being bullied. And there was one point where it really got to me, and I didn't think I had another way out. And you consider all the dark ways out. But I couldn't do it because I knew what it would do to my mum. And it was her love that brought me through the dark period at school. But I was so shy, couldn't talk to anyone. I hated it. But I got through school, I got through college, and the only thing I ever wanted to do was to work for my dad. And that was all I wanted to do. He was an entrepreneur. He was incredibly successful. He built a huge business selling sportswear. He made a lot of money. And I wanted to work for him. So I went to work for the family business. It was after he'd gone bankrupt and restarted. And it kind of was okay to start with. I enjoyed it for a few years. And then it all started to go wrong when my dad got sent to prison for selling counterfeit sportswear. He came out of prison, cheated on my mum, and it all completely went wrong. My mum was divorcing my dad. The last place you want to be when your parents are getting divorced and it's all gone wrong is the family business. So I quit the family business and I didn't know what to do with my life. And this guy called Matvey Mihailovich Ananin, what an amazing name. He gave me a book and he basically came to me with this book and he said, Alan, your life is a mess. You need this book.
There was another reason your life was a mess as well, wasn't there?
So I left the family business. The parents were getting divorced and I went to my girlfriend and said, would you like to escape with me? And she said, Alan, I don't love you anymore. I'm breaking up with you as well. So it was like all 3 major areas of my life fell to pieces at once. And don't feel too bad about this because that's what made me who I am today. The tough stuff that I went through then is what turned me into who I am today. And he gave me this book and said, your life's a mess, you need it. And it was a self-development book. I'd never read a self-development book. I had no idea what a self-development book was. And I booked a trip. I loved football and I'd always wanted to go to Brazil. So I booked a trip to go to Brazil on my own. And I remember getting to Copacabana Beach, not knowing what to do. So I just sat on the beach with this self-development book and read it.
What was the book?
It was called Notes from a Friend by Tony Robbins. It's an entry-level self-development book. It's a super quick read. And I sat there and read it, and my mind was just blown. It was like, what is this stuff? What do you mean I can set a goal? I can learn how to do it. I can model other people. And it taught me all these intro concepts about creating the life you want to build. And I was so blown away by that book. I read it in a day because I didn't have any friends, just sat on the beach reading. I was like, what other books does he have? And at the end of the thing, he said, I have these other 2 books. So I went to the English bookstore in Rio and found his other two books, read those two books, and that sent me on this self-development craze of learning everything I could. And I did Brian Tracy's courses and Zig Ziglar's courses and Tony Robbins' courses and Jim Rohn's courses. And I learned everything that I could, and I became obsessed with that stuff. And one of these books told me that there was this thing called Toastmasters. Have you heard of Toastmasters? There's a few shaking heads, like, no, what is Toastmasters? A few people saying yes. Toastmasters is this like club where you can go to learn public speaking. And it took me a long time to get to it, but I eventually went to Toastmasters. And I went there, I went to Guildford Speakers Club was the one I chose. They had some great speakers and I learned from them. I started to present. I loved it. I spent 7 years at Toastmasters. I did all the competitions. I learned from the world champions of public speaking. I read every book you could read on speaking.
I think not just like, you didn't just read them though, did you? What did you do with that knowledge?
I did it. Like it was like tested it immediately.
I think that's one of the things that really sets Alan apart from most people that I know and have met is like, yeah, he's read a bunch of books and I know loads of people that read a bunch of books, but how many of them actually implement what it says in the books? Alan will like implement stuff that day. I remember we were listening to a podcast on the way to a Rebel Business School event once, and they gave this, I can't remember what it was, but they said something on this podcast and we both were like, oh yeah, that's a great idea. Alan implemented that idea that morning when we got to the event. Like he actually, that's I think where you've been so successful in your life is that you actually implement what you learn. Because yeah, you could have read that book on the beach and gone, oh, okay, that's really interesting, and read the other ones and kept reading and reading, but you actually implement what you learn.
Thank you. Yes, I loved it. And I loved Toastmasters. I loved doing it. I entered all the competitions and I ended up getting to the top 4 in humorous public speaking in the UK and Ireland. I won a lot of the competitions and that started me learning stand-up comedy. And I did my first ever stand-up comedy set in Guildford. And you would not believe the experience. Having 100 pissed people staring at you, going, come on, make me laugh. Like that is a tough challenge, but I loved it. It was incredible. And I thought about doing stand-up comedy. And I have this saying, I can't remember who I learned it from. I think it's Jim Rohn said, you can have anything you want in life if you're willing to pay the price up front and in full. And the price to be a stand-up comedian is to go and do comedy at the highest level you can every night. And the nights you do comedy is like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, because that's when people watch it. Sometimes Monday nights. And I was like, do I want to do that? Because Katie had a day job. So if I went and did comedy, I would only be able to do it at the times that I could see Katie. And I decided I wasn't willing to pay that price to become a comedian. So I kind of gave up my dream of comedy and changed it to I want to be a trainer and teach people how to present and speak and like teach people how to do this because I'd loved learning it. And so I started running courses on how to present. I eventually landed Microsoft as a client, and I was teaching a course at Microsoft called Coaching for Presence. And they would give me 6 people for 2 days straight. And they would come out slightly different after working with me for 2 days. And it was the most fun course.
What do you mean when they came out different?
Well, I can be quite intense. I don't know if you can tell this. But imagine being stuck in a room with me for 2 days, staring at you, going, we're going to do this.
This dude is, yeah, he's very intense.
So, like, I taught them, my idea was, if I can teach Microsoft engineers how to write a joke and they can perform it and make someone laugh, they'll believe they can do anything. So I taught joke writing courses. I taught them how to use PowerPoint. Had the most wonderful time. That was my first business I built. And that's basically how I became a presenter, a trainer, someone who wanted to teach. And it was this lifelong desire to learn. And if you could sum up basically my life, it would be, I find I have a problem. I go and read every book, every course, and speak to every person until I can solve that problem. Then I find a way to fix it. And then I'm like, why doesn't everyone know about this? And then I write a course and try and teach other people how to do it. That's basically what I've done for my entire life.
And what do you say to people, or what do you think when they say, oh, you're so lucky that you're such a talented speaker, you're such a talented, gifted speaker, Alan? So what do you think, or what?
Luck. You didn't see the people. So people go to Toastmasters and they do one speech every 2 months, maybe 3 months or 4 months. So they're doing 7 minutes of speaking every 4 months. I was at the time running courses where I was speaking from 9 till 5 every day. So I did as much speaking in one day as most people did in 2 years. And when you put that level of practice, focus, energy into learning something, you can't help but improve. You cannot help. So that's like the level of energy I put into things, and I've always got focused and going, I'm going to fix this, I'm going to do it. Spoonsby said, did you ever irritate people? Spoonsby, yes, definitely. Some people don't like to learn, don't like to change, but they'll like to tell you their problems. If you tell me your problems, I will try and fix them.
If you express a mild wish in Alan's presence of I've always thought about quitting my job, going to Africa and opening an orphanage. I don't know, that's a very cliche thing, but something like that. If you just express a mild wish, be like, okay, right, let's make it happen. We're going to do it. What's the first step? So be very careful about what you express that you want to do, because if you actually do want to do it, Alan will gently bully you into making it happen, because he cares so deeply about the people that he cares about, and he cares about a lot of people. That's, I think, one of your big superpowers, and something that probably is your kryptonite as well, is that Alan cares so deeply about helping the people around him, and he, having studied so much of how to achieve something, how to do things, he gets incredibly frustrated, because he's like, look, you literally just have to do step A, B, C, and you can get there. But our minds get in the way. So the people that he loves around him are like, well, I want to do this. And he's like, well, okay, let's do it. Yeah, but what about this? What about that? He's like, no, it's really simple. Just do these things. And that's not from a lack of, what's the word? Empathy. You know how much your brain and your mindset can get in the way. I think you see so clearly the way for people to make progress, because you've done it yourself, that you get very frustrated at the people around you that express that they want to live a certain way, and you're like, well, let's do it. And they're like, oh.
And they never do. They never do. You just have to accept it and let them do what they do and go from there. Did you notice any questions in the chat, Katie?
Angela, I think it was an actual question, but she kind of said it in jest of, can you do that for dating, asking for a friend? I think meaning the skills of anything, you can learn anything.
I'm sure it's a process. And that's literally my belief, is you can learn anything. Some people are like, oh, you're either born funny or you're not. And I used to have that debate with Microsoft engineers every time I ran the workshop. Are you born funny, or can you learn how to write a joke? And we would debate it. Then I would show them a structure of a joke, prove that they could write it, teach them how to do it, show them how to deliver it. They would deliver it, people would laugh, and they're like, oh, wow, if I can learn that, I can learn anything. And that was the game. But I truly believe you can learn anything.
Colin says, and there's Similar question someone submitted as well, talking about NLP. How has that influenced your trainings and life in general? I guess, first of all, what is NLP? What does that stand for? What is it?
NLP stands for Neuro-Linguistic Programming, and it was like a subject made up by a guy called Richard Bandler and John Grindler back in the 60s. And Tony Robbins referenced that he'd learned a lot from them. And I was like, oh, interesting. If he learned from them, maybe I should read their stuff. So I read all their stuff.
Down the rabbit hole, didn't you? Yeah. Whoever they referenced, you then went off and read their books.
And that was at the stage where I didn't have any confidence. And a large part of their thing is how to think, how to control the negative voice in your head, how to create a positive voice in your head, how to think. And those courses taught me a lot about thinking, goal setting, changing the way I think, tools and techniques. And a lot of it we use in the courses to try and frame positively what we're doing. And like, it taught me so much. I thought they were great courses.
You talked about like the negative and positive voices. Karen says you just don't seem to let all the negative voices in your head get in the way. It's inspiring. But do you have those negative voices anymore? You said to me in the past, like, I don't deal with it. Like, you just kind of have trained them out.
Almost. I refuse to negotiate with terrorists.
What's going on in Alan's head? Someone's like, like, there's just nothing there. And he's just like mostly present and in the moment, apart from when you're frustrated with the people around you, not like living the lives that you know that they want.
Do any of you have a terrorist in your head that comes along and tries to take you down?
Yes.
Like, they just say stuff. Yeah, I see a few of you putting your hands up. Like, the terrorist just tries to take you down. And I literally go, I refuse to deal with that, because the terrorist says, what if it goes wrong? But if I focus on what if it goes wrong, I start to imagine it going wrong, and I'm more likely to create it going wrong. And I've learned that. So I just go, I'm not going to do that. I need to focus entirely. And I do this with my head, because I'm going to literally take my focus and focus on what I want. And I do not accept, like, that voice is just someone in my past, someone negative, some training that I've had. Like, I don't need to negotiate with that. I want to focus on what I want. And I'm human. The voices still come. The things still happen. The key is, what do you actually want to focus on, and what do you actually want to create? Because the more time you spend focusing on what you want, the more likely you are to create it. So I do not negotiate with terrorists, especially my own one.
You spend a long time trying to stop my terrorists as well. Like, my terrorists would come out, and I was like, why are we dealing with her? Like, get the terrorists away.
So there's a lot going on there. It's quite a start. Let's move on to the next question here from John. Katie.
Yes.
John asks, we've loved your courses, and both of you, thank you so much for what you do. My question is about purpose, related to Doc G's session.
Oh, if you haven't seen Doc G's session, that was an excellent one. I highly encourage you to watch that one.
Do you ever struggle with this? I'm sure that at times your little p and big P purpose are aligned, but are there times when you question everything and ask yourself if you're on the right path? I'm retiring in March, which is why I ask. Do you ever have any doubt, Katie?
If I have any doubt? Yes, I have a lot of doubt. I think, when we're running Rebel Finance School, it is very intense period. As I said, like, this is video number 33 we started at the end of May, and we're now at the beginning of September, and we've done every single Monday night apart from a Monday when we were on the plane to come here to LA. Like, it's an intense period, and it's when I feel most alive and most in what we're doing, because we've committed to be here for you Monday and Thursday evenings for a few months. So we're just like doing what's in front of us. Yes, we've planned to get into that spot, but it's in terms of the thought process that goes into, like, okay, how am I going to structure my day, what I'm going to do? Like, it's kind of decided for us because we made that commitment to do the course. But then when we come into that kind of transition period of, okay, the course is over, well, nearly. There's actually like a bunch of follow-up stuff that we need to do to tidy things up. But then there does become like a void. There's a void of time because we were working like probably like 12 hours a day on Rebel Finance School when it was like in the thick of it. And it's intense and it's a lot. And I love it. And we did wish, like, can we just hit pause?
Pause.
We just kept saying to each other, like, I just need to hit pause because there's so much going on and there's so much things we want to do and extra resources we want to create. And there's only so many hours in a day. But when it comes to the point where we're not running Rebel Finance School, when we're not having to like just do what's in front of us because we've committed to it, that's when I do then start to go, oh, now what? Because I almost like feed on that adrenaline as well of like having to do something. Like, obviously, you don't have to, but I do because I committed to it and I want to do it. So then when there is that space, that's when it's like, oh, now what? And then you have to kind of, I'm not very good at this, right? But like allowing that space to then kind of regroup and question and say what's next. But I think I've spent a lot of time avoiding thinking. And that's where we clash a lot as well, of like, you love thinking and you're like, okay, like let's answer a bunch of questions about where we want to focus next and what we want to do. And there's a bunch of projects that we can and do want to pick up. Whereas I've always avoided that kind of thinking of like, you know, just make a snap decision. I'll just do that just to kind of avoid that feeling of not knowing or of doubt or of like, I think we've said this a few times, like, this is all made up. I mean, not the principles of Rebel Finance School, that's good, sound personal finance, but like our lives, they're just made up, just like any of our lives are made up. Like you decided to get a certain career, pick a certain partner, live in a certain place in whatever country in the world. Like it's all made up. And I think I'm still struggle with that of like, well, what if I do the wrong thing? And it's like, there is no wrong thing. There's so many options available to all of us. And it might not feel to you like you have options, but you do, like how you choose to spend your time, how you choose to direct your thoughts. And that's something I'm really working on as well. It's like, I have not managed to silence or mute that negative voice in my head. Like she's in there and she's still like pretty vicious to me, to Alan, like to both of us. And then when we do have that space, that's when that voice starts to come louder. And that's when we clash as well. It's like, oh, there's space now. Let me like pick a fight and see how that goes.
Well, you mean how that goes. That's why you enjoy it.
I've been talking for a while now, and what would you like to add to this?
The thing I would add to this is people are like, well, do you ever struggle with this? We're human just like everyone else. We have a lot of tools to get out of it, but we're human like everyone else. And I remember an occasion 2 years ago, we had a huge opportunity to do a TV show based on entrepreneurship. We pitched to like the major studios. It was an incredible opportunity and we lost the opportunity. And I remember feeling absolutely lost. Like I'd been working on doing a TV show for about 3 years. And I was completely lost, wondering, what do I do with my world now this opportunity has gone? I was lost for a long time and I had the feeling of like, I'm meant for more than this. I can help more people. I can do more things. And I'm meant for more. And it was actually, I was speaking to my friend Travis about this, and he was the one that was able to turn me around. And I asked him advice. I said, Travis, if you were in charge of me, what would you tell me to do? And I think that's a really interesting question. If you were to ask someone you trust, don't ask people you don't trust. Definitely don't ask people that haven't got the results you want to get. Ask the people who've got the results you want to get and say, if you were in charge of me, what would you tell me to do? And Travis said, Alan, I'd put you to work. I'd get you working. And I was like, that's interesting.
What does that mean?
Well, he said, you've got to figure that out. I was like, thanks, Travis. So I was like, well, the two things I wanted to do was write the book and get the course going again. So that's what I did. So I literally wrote the book, which we've got to finish the last round of edits. That will come out soon.
Someone asked the question about it.
The book is coming. We will have a book coming out. And I went back to running Rebel Finance School, and I put all my energy into helping other people. And it's interesting. If you are inwardly focused, your problems become huge. If you're outwardly focused, it's almost like your problems evaporate. So I found my purpose in helping other people, and that helped a lot of my problems to evaporate at that period. And I've been on that mission for 2 years since, and I just feel so alive and supported and energized by you.
I do fall into that trap of like very inwardly focused and like, woe is me, like I don't know what to do with my time or like what's next. And the minute you look out and like, okay, what can I do to help someone else? That like it's such a buzz, isn't it? To feel like you've managed to help someone else. And I had an hour-long chat with a friend yesterday who was asking my advice, like, what shall I do next? Trying to figure out what her next move was. And I felt like I'd helped her and I connected with her, and that made me feel so positive for the rest of the day. It was like I've won the day. I've like helped this person, and it's like it was an hour out of my day, and it was amazing.
Yes, and it's just positive. And thank you for your comments. We love reading your comments. Julie has told us, whilst in LA, go to the Rainbow Bar and Grill on Sunset and soak up the classic rock. So we'll add that to our list of things to do. H says, I've finally made it back on Zoom. How are you both health-wise? Feeling much better now, Katie? Both able to get enough rest? Definitely sleeping better. Slight incident being poisoned by a Panamanian restaurant on the way here. Other than that, we're doing very well. What's All About says, what do you love to do just for you that doesn't involve helping anyone else?
I mean, the thing that came to mind was playing with data, but that tends to help other people as a byproduct. The very first time that in lockdown back in like winter of 2020, I woke up with a question in my mind of, I wonder how much of our overall portfolio is in Apple through index funds. But I was just like, I don't know why that particular company, but I was like, I wonder how much monetary amount of our portfolio happens to be in Apple through the index funds. So I scurried off for days for myself. I wanted to answer this question. And Alan had his blog. This was when we were in the old days, and it was alandonegan.com. Don't go there, you won't find anything there. It's all moved over now. But Alan was like, oh, we should publish your research and what you've discovered on the blog, because I went in this like deep dive of index funds, and that's when I first did. If you remember, there's that chart that I showed all the little blocks of all the different companies are. And Alan's like,
I lost her for a week, an entire week.
It's all right. It's lockdown. There's nothing else to do. But Alan was like, well, we should share this, and I was like, what do you mean? Why would anyone else be interested? This is weird. No. And eventually I was okay and we did. But that's not a very good answer to the question, what do you love to do just for you that doesn't involve helping anyone else? I guess I would do that even if it didn't help other people. And to start with, I was like, why would this help other people? The other thing is jigsaws. Jigsaws,
Lego. I love good food. Movies. I love going to the cinema. If you ever want to come and watch a movie with me, we can go to the cinema.
Let's answer Mark's question while you're talking about cinema.
I absolutely love that. What did Mark ask?
Mark asked, what's your favourite Marvel movie and why?
That's like asking which kid do you love the most? What kind of question is that? Captain America Winter Soldier is amazing, but I don't think you can truly beat the combo of Endgame and Infinity War. Like, what an amazing set of movies.
Follow-up question from me, because there's loads of questions coming in, but it's all about me right now. Who's your favourite character?
Probably Captain America. I don't know if you've seen the first Captain America movie, but the whole movie is about standing up to bullies. And that's what I do. I stand up to bullies for myself and for other people. And that absolutely does it. And people are like, what about Ant-Man and the Wasp? Ant-Man is Katie's favourite movie. She loves it. Ragnarok is amazing. Mark T, Guardians of the Galaxy is amazing. I had to choose. You asked me which one. I love them all.
When Paul Rudd cut his hair, that was it for me. Can't go back.
Katie only likes Chris Hemsworth with short hair.
Not with the long hair, with the long forehead. No. Get rid of that long hair.
Yeah, the recent Thor movie was not great, but number 1 to 3 were very good. And I loved Ant-Man movie. It's awesome.
What else do we like? We do love a good hike. Love going to a good theme park.
Yeah. We're going to Disneyland for my birthday. I'm so excited.
Next week. Oh.
Yes, I'm going to be 47 next week. And I get to go to Disneyland and get a badge. And then everyone will go, happy birthday. And I'll just go, I'm 47.
They proudly do when their kids will be like,
I'm 47.
I'm 47. Love it.
I never grew up.
How did you? That was the most boring thing. Lynn said I went to Disney for my 50th.
I love it.
I love Disney.
I love it.
I think we should answer a question that a lot of people had that they submitted, and a few people asked in the chat tonight as well. So Amy asked this, Julie, Debbie, Danielle, how did we meet? When? How long have we been married? Where did we get married? All that kind of fun stuff. So Alan, origin story. How did we meet?
How did we meet?
I think we should say what caused us to go to that place as well.
So I think I was in a mess in my life, and I again did something. I travelled around the world to go and do a volunteer project. So instead of being at home moping when my family life was a mess and we were losing the family home and stuff that you don't need to know about, you can ask about if you want, but you don't need to know about it. I was like, I need to go and do a volunteer program. So I flew all the way to Costa Rica to do a 3-month volunteer program. We built a home for someone who lost their house in a flood, and we used football, soccer for the people around the rest of the world, to take the kids out of the slums, and they would play football with us on the edge of the slums, and then we would teach them English and give them ideas and use it as a way to reach the next generation of young people. And that's what I went to do. And there were a bunch of volunteers there, including a cute British girl. But I did not go to find a cute British girl.
What did you go to do, Alan?
I went to find South American girls.
What were you going to do with the South American girls? Well,
Make friends.
Central American.
So I travelled all the way to Central America to meet a girl from Uxbridge.
Excuse me, it's Ickenham. Thank you.
37 miles from my house, Katie lived, but I never would have met her unless I travelled halfway around the world to do something like volunteering and do what I loved. And that's where we met in 2005. So we've been together 20 years. Can you believe that?
It's a long time.
It's shocking. Ariana's clapping. I'm not quite sure why. We've survived 20 years.
And then we got married in 2013. So what's that, 12 years ago, in Basingstoke, of course. Basingstoke. Where else would you get married?
The, what do you call it? The registry office in Basingstoke is surprisingly pretty.
Yes.
And next to the park.
It's nice.
It's actually one of the prettiest registry offices around the area. And it's a lovely park. And the family came, we had a lovely day, and we had a big party on the Saturday.
Which I do think that links nicely into a question that someone had about Basingstoke, aka Amazingstoke, which is, so Claire said, I work in Basingstoke Hospital, been there a few times, but don't live in Basingstoke. What's the best thing to visit in Basingstoke? I should get to know it better. Because we've been rabbiting on about Basingstoke. I can see Karen laughing here because she's like, why would you, there's nothing. But that's not true. Okay, so Basingstoke is kind of, in the nicest possible way, a kind of a generic UK town. You don't really have any reason to go there. However, once you are there, we loved it. We loved living there. Here's some highlights for you.
It has the second largest banana processing plant in the whole of Europe.
It used to have the largest undercover car park. I nearly went American then. Parking garage, parking lot, car park in Europe. I think it's now.
It's now like number 3 or 4. It's gone down the list.
But do you know what the main thing do you know what I'm thinking the main thing to visit
I'm pretty sure I am. But
the main thing to visit, on Waite Street, there is a large phallic grey structure called the Woat Street Willy. I need to find the picture of us on our wedding day with that.
We have a wedding
photo. Chat away, I'm going to find it. But this structure, we'll find the photo. Have you got the one of us on our wedding day?
Maybe.
You need to go there, Claire. That's where you need to go. Other than that, I mean, there's no like tourist reason to go to Basingstoke, other than, you know, maybe there'll be a blue plaque there one day where we live, being like the Donegans lived here for part of their lives.
Yeah. There was a lovely question that built on that. Katie, Jolly says,
Jolly,
why did you go to volunteer?
Oh, great question, Jolly. I was in a bit of a pickle in my life as well. So Alan was having problems with, you know, his family life was kind of in a mess, falling apart. I had gone to uni to study maths, and like I got in a pickle as well. How would you explain this? I don't know where to start with this story.
You could start with why you quit university, or you didn't quit, but like.
Well, I did quit. So I was studying maths. I got into Oxford to study maths. So I was super proud. Like it was almost like that was my crowning achievement of my life. It's like, okay, I got into Oxford. Aren't I so clever? Look at me. And almost now I'm like, look at me, like showing off. I got into Oxford. Like that's how like ingrained this is, that like I have to kind of impress people. But anyway, I got into Oxford, and I kind of saw it as my reward for having worked so hard at school, because I did work really hard to get in. And then I was like, okay, I'm now going to just like party. So I just like partied all the time. I didn't like work in the same way that I did when I was at school. And suddenly I was a small fish in a big pond. Like I wasn't the smartest person there. And I had learnt to measure my worth by comparing myself to others. This message of do not compare your pineapples, I'm still working on that one, because I was trained so heavily to do that as a kid, and in my academic life and in my work life, and by my parents. And like I liked that game for the most part, because I came out on top. Like I am the best at maths in my class. I am good, like musically, I am good at this, like achievement. Look at me, I'm like so great. But like when you go to a place and you're not the best, and that's what my whole self-worth was built on, is like, oh, like, and then I crumbled, got like very depressed, and left after just over a year. Went back home, living with my parents, and just starting to like recover from that, and got like a temp job and saved up some money. And my mum said to me, Katie, you got this money, you've got this time, why don't you go see the world, do something? So I signed up to the same volunteer project that Alan had signed up to, and that's how I ended up there. That's a long answer to the question.
And something you all probably didn't know, but Katie is an amazing football player. She used to play for Chelsea when she was younger. She is a phenomenal football player. No booing, Chelsea, Mark. Yeah, she has a world record in football for the highest altitude football match ever played. She climbed to the top of Mount Kilimanjaro, 3.5 miles above sea level, and played a 90-minute football match with some amazing, inspiring women to raise awareness of equality in sport around the world. So she's just the most unbelievable football player, and what she does. So yeah, I just wanted to say about that.
It's so weird, because it's like I like these achievements, and almost like, oh yay, like people think I did a cool thing, but then it just doesn't like fill that void of like the self-worth that needs to come from me.
It's like comes from within.
Exactly, rather than like, oh, I've done all these achievements, and yeah, I've done some cool stuff, and that's never gonna like fill up that self-worth, which needs to come from within. So
no, I've been telling Katie how amazing she is for 20 years, and I can confirm it doesn't matter how much you say if the person doesn't believe it themselves.
Yeah. So actually that's one of the things I'm really working on at the moment, is my own self-worth, because that's one of the things I've been avoiding working on, and one of the things that is affecting me and us the most, because I still do confession time, I still compare my pineapples. And even even when I supposedly like come out on top, that is still not a good thing, right? Like we say don't compare your pineapples, usually because people tend to compare themselves to others and feel like inferior in some way. But actually, I did it to feel superior and like, well, yes, I am the best. Look at me. But I now do it and I compare myself to Alan, and Alan's off like having a nice day and being happy. And I'm like, well, Alan's happy, so like that means I'm not good enough. Like, what's the actual, like, why does that affect how I feel about myself? But it does. So that's one of the big things that I'm working on at the moment.
Yes. A few questions said, how are you working on that, Katie?
I bought a course. It was a little mini self-esteem course that I am doing online. I can send you the link if you like.
And it's really interesting, like how hard this training was. I was many years ago hanging out at Katie's house and I went for a run. It was just a short run, like 5 kilometers or something. And I came back and Katie's dad was like, how far did you run? What was your time? Immediately getting into how fast you'd run. And then like he'd been reading the paper and he's like, well, the Olympic athletes would have done that in this time. And that makes me feel really good that I get compared to Olympic athletes as soon as I get back from my fun run to stay fit. But that is like how deeply it is ingrained into like family and societies that we should be compared to the best of the best all the time. And you don't have to be. You are enough exactly as you are. You don't have to do anything. You are just you, and we love you because you are you. That's it, including you.
I wasn't listening.
I know.
I was finding the link to the course. Yeah, but I know that's something that a lot of us struggle with. And I know I'm not alone in that. That is something that we all kind of work on. And it's so weird, isn't it? Because we can see, like, if you were to ask me, are other humans worthy if they haven't, done anything? I'm like, well, of course they are. Like, we're just all inherently of worth. But why do I apply some different, like, I'm so special that I apply different rules to myself? It's such a paradox. It's so weird. Should we move on to a different question?
Do you want to ask Ori's question?
Yes. My question is specifically to Alan. Alan, I don't know why I'm looking on my screen, I'm reading on your screen. You explained about your dad's situation. I have a narcissistic dad and some toxic people in the family. If you can answer, it would be good. But if not, I understand it's a bit personal. But how did or do you manage to keep a healthy relationship with him or any family members that have very opposite views to yours?
So it's interesting about a healthy relationship. I have no relationship with my dad. The last time I spoke to him, my mum and I found out that he was cheating on my mum in my mum's pub with someone who was there behind her back when she wasn't there. So I went and confronted him at the pub, told him it was unacceptable. He said he would do whatever he would wanted to, and it ended up in a big argument. And he's not very big, my dad, and I probably don't look it, but I'm surprisingly strong.
Show the muscles.
I picked him up by his lapels and screamed at him, if you ever take that woman into mum's pub again, I will never talk to you again. The very next day, to prove that he was more of a man, brought the woman into mum's pub in front of everyone. My mum came to do the cashing up at the end of the night, and my dad was incredibly drunk, and my dad assaulted her. And then in the court case, told the judge that it was my fault that he assaulted her because I had challenged him the day before and been aggressive towards him. The judge obviously didn't believe him, but let's be honest, that affected my energy and self-esteem when I learned what he'd said to the judge. And I've never spoken to him again. And I wish him no harm. He can be happy wherever he is. And I did a lot of work on forgiveness, because actually, like, being angry at someone else, you're the only person gets hurt because that anger is inside you. They don't know if you're angry. So you can be happy, but somewhere else. I don't need that relationship. And over the years, lots of times people have said, but he's your dad, like, you should have a relationship to him. I'm like, why? Just because, like, we shared the same blood? I don't know. Like, it wasn't a healthy relationship, and I don't need that. So I just said no. And there are some relationships you just need to minimize because they are unhealthy. And there are other relationships you should nurture and spend more time around those people and find people who are happy and uplifting and want to learn and engage and grow, and spend time with those people, and they will light up your life. So that's what I do, is I spend more time finding people that light up my life and I want to spend time with. So yeah, probably didn't directly answer your question, other than you just have to spend less time with the people that hurt you and more time with the people that light up your life. And just because you were born with them doesn't mean you have to spend time with them. You can develop a chosen family. You can develop a family of people that you love, but they're not related to you, and they will be your chosen family.
You're getting a lot of love in the chat.
Well, I love you all. This is my chosen community, as you guys. I love hanging out with you, and I have like Christy and Bryce and Simon and Henry and my other friends, and like they're my chosen family. They're the people I want to spend time with. They're the people I love.
Should we switch tracks and talk about nomadic stuff? I feel like we need a bit of a mood change.
A little bit of a mood change. Are you all okay out
there? Did I
there?
swoop in with the mood change too soon? Should I have left us to like sit in that for a little bit?
No, we didn't need to sit in that. Love you guys. Are you all okay out there? Give me some kind of sign.
I think a few of us are tearing up.
Thumbs up from Mark. Other Mark, thumbs up. Ariana gave me 2 thumbs up. Excellent.
Leslie says, "Am I the only one feeling quite emotional?"
I was quite emotional.
We all feel a bit emotional.
No, I think we all were.
Let's talk about travel.
How to lighten the mood.
What have we got, Alan? Well, I mean, so
a whole set of nomadic questions.
A lot of questions. I think we kind of led the witness a little bit, didn't we? Because we were like, "Are you curious about our nomadic life? Ask us some questions." So we got a lot of questions about our nomadic life. So, for a bit of context, we hit financial independence 2019, and we chose early 2020 to start traveling the world full time. Now, that's not the best timing in the world. There was a rather large global pandemic that happened. However,
we had a lovely month in January.
Yeah, Jan was great.
In Thailand. And then we flew to America, and we did a course in America, and then we started to hear stuff about this stuff.
Yes.
We actually met a lady. We were in Chiang Mai in Thailand, and we met this lady called Leanne. And in January, she's like, "I'm from Wuhan. It's okay, I haven't got anything." And I'm like, "What do you mean Wuhan? We've never heard of it." And that was Leanne. Wuhan Leanne was her nickname. And Wuhan Leanne told us all about it to start with. And then we started hearing about it. We arrived in New Orleans 3 days before lockdown. We were going so that Katie could learn jazz piano. Where else would you go to learn jazz piano other than New Orleans? And we got there. They locked down 2 days after we arrived, and she had to do remote lessons.
Wasn't quite the same.
Not quite the same.
Yeah, so we went back to UK. But so that was early 2020. We're now it's nearly 2026. So we've been doing this for 6 years. So people have a lot of questions about that. It's like, where is your stuff? How much do you travel with? How do you choose where to go? So let's answer some of those questions. Okay. Are you going to show them our empty bag that is just strewn on the floor? So we arrived here on Monday. What are we now? It's Thursday today that we're recording this.
We're unpacking.
We're still in the unpacking phase because been a little bit poorly and not quite unsafe. We actually we could say that this was by design, couldn't we? We still have our suitcase strewn on the floor. So Alan's going to show you.
There's Katie.
Alan's going to show you.
Haven't unpacked, so excuse the mess. But we have one suitcase each. You have to talk because they won't hear.
Okay, we have one suitcase each. We splashed out on some fancy bags actually. Yeah, we got some neck pillows, and we have one suitcase each and one backpack each, just like a normal day bag type thing. Alan has Lego in there. Sometimes they'll bring a jigsaw, but we have a reasonable size amount of stuff. So we kind of max out the weight normally, don't we? So we got two 23-kilo bags. We've just actually bought a bunch of kit to up the video quality that we're doing on the YouTube channel and stuff. So yeah, we've both got one of those type bags. It's all the tech that we carry with us. We've got lots of cables. We've got cameras, the stuff that we do to do the live stream. So we've got, like, whilst we don't carry the big TV around with us, we do have a little webcam. We've got little mics that we use. I think about half of one bags
is tech.
So that's what we travel with. We're not, like, on the scheme of things in terms of our worldly possessions, yes, we are minimalist, but in terms of some people that travel literally with just a little rucksack, we're not completely minimalist like that.
But I think we did feel that we weren't completely minimalist, and then we hung out with our friend Sean,
yeah,
and he's like, what are you talking about? You have 2 bags, that's your entire possessions. You're like the most minimalistic people that we know. And he helped to see it in a different perspective.
Michelle, do you buy a new TV every time?
No, they come with the Airbnb or the hotel. Luckily, we don't have to buy TVs.
Someone asked this in the chat about, you know, like the idea of slow travel. So it's not like we're moving and need to be like agile with our belongings, really. Like we've come to this Airbnb here in LA and we're here for just over 2 months. So like we're here, there's cupboards, we like unpack our stuff, we have a home for 2 months. So it's not like we're like carrying our stuff with us all the time. That's actually rare. That's just travel days.
I also say it's a test of my fitness and strength, because I am only strong if I can carry the luggage, and I shouldn't be allowed to have stuff that I can't carry. So that's like my test of if I still have muscles, is if I can lift the bags up easily and move around it.
Adventure Scrapbook. Love the name on YouTube. How long did it take you to sell all your belongings, and how did you do this? This was a big project.
It was a big project. It probably took about 3 months.
It took months. Obviously not like full time, but you know, over that period of time. It's a big mental and physical project. So we lived in Basingstoke for 11 years in the same flat. I'm sure, as you know, if you've lived anywhere for any period of time, you accumulate stuff.
The walls close in.
We had 11, some big nods from Karen and Mark. The walls were closing in on our flat, like slowly, like the Lego was like taking over. We had one big shelf of self-development books that was in the spare room. People were worried it was going to fall in their heads in the night when we had friends around to stay. Like we just had like a lot of stuff that we forgot that we even owned. And we had a project, like we went through every single item in our flat, and we were inspired by Marie Kondo, weren't we? So her one thing
spark joy.
Does it spark joy? Do I want to?
This sparks joy.
Oh, good.
It holds my water.
So we got all of one category out into the middle of the room. So we got all of our books and put them in the middle of the room. It's like, do I need or want to keep any of these? And we had like a different lens that we were looking at of like, you know, the aim really was to get rid of as much stuff as we could. So it's like we had to be ruthless of like, do I need or want this in my life? And for the most part, the answer was no, and it was an easy no. There was some stuff where it's not an easy no. There were some weird moments in that.
Your football boots.
My football boots. I cried when I got rid of my football boots. I might get emotional now. I'll get emotional. You go. It's just so weird. Objects, they're things I put on my feet to play football, but it was like I didn't know I was still emotional about it. I was like saying goodbye to football. Can you talk?
But it's really interesting the things you do. You say goodbye to something, and we kept our wedding album. We have a few boxes of stuff in Katie's parents' house, and they look after some of our stuff. We have the wedding album, letters we'd written to each other and stuff like that. My Entrepreneur of the Year award did not make the cut. I had a massive glass award. It was huge. And I'm like, what am I going to do with this? What do I do with it? And so I put it in the glass recycling. That's the strangest moment I've ever had in my life.
Throwing away trophy, like took a picture of it. We have the picture.
I had like
get rid of it.
30 trophies for winning speech contests. And I was like, I need to recycle these. Like, I can't take them around the world with me. What do I do with them? Yeah, there were some very strange moments.
It was hard. It was really hard because we
took a photo. It's like, would you like to take a photo of that?
Yeah. And we gave each other permission to keep anything that we wanted as well, didn't we? But like, it's trained this new kind of ruthlessness in us with our possessions, both of what we want to like accept into our lives. Like, we'll only buy a piece of clothing if we absolutely love it.
New
like,
t-shirt.
In the past, when we were, you go clothes shopping, whatever, and you're like, oh, that's a really good bargain. I'm not sure if I actually really like it that much, but I can't turn that bargain down because, it's like a nice t-shirt and it's a tenner and it's amazing. Like, whereas now I will not let it into my life unless I'm really, really excited about wearing it, about using it. And actually, because we move every few months, there's a natural purge of stuff that we've accumulated. We were in Brazil for 3 months. We came here. We left a pile of stuff in the hotel room that we were not taking with us. And that was just from a couple of months. Like, it's crazy how you accumulate stuff, and having that natural purge each time you move really helps.
Exactly. Joseph says you could argue that recycling your Entrepreneur of the Year award is one of the most entrepreneurial activities you could have done, which I liked. Trevor says we should have sold all our stuff and invested the proceeds. Trevor, we did. We sold our Skoda Citigo, we sold our bed, we sold all our stuff and invested the proceeds in the Vanguard Index Fund. So that is absolutely what we did. We did a lot of that.
How do we choose where we're going to go, Adam? That question comes up a lot.
Like, there's a number of ways. One, I've always wanted to go there. There's like places you like, I've always wanted to go to Bali, I've always wanted to go to Sydney, I've always wanted to go wherever. So we did those. Two, I did actually like just occasionally just scroll through the map of the continent and go, what countries are there? Because if you ever I don't know all the countries, there's like 200 countries. So I'm scrolling through the map going like, what is here? And I remember seeing Uruguay and there was a place called Montevideo. And I'm like, that's a cool name. We should go to Montevideo. I've never heard of it. So we chose it by that reason. Other times it's like, how did the flights line up? Where do we want to go? Is there a conference there? Are people do we want to know? And then more over recent times, it's been, do we have a purpose to go? Like, is there a reason we want to go there? So next year we're going to come back to New Zealand because Bronwyn has promised she's going to run a conference there. So we're going to come to New Zealand, I think in November. So we're looking forward to that. And Australia in October, because there is a conference there called Tribe Fi, which is an FI conference. So we get to go and be speakers, meet incredible people, and we have purpose. And I love that. And the people of New Zealand are just so wonderfully friendly. We're going to go and hang out with Ruth. Hello, Ruth. Do the event with Bronwyn, and it'll be just wonderful.
Getting a lot of love from the Kiwis in the chat. They're saying they can't wait to see us.
Kiwis, we love you. We had such an amazing time last time.
I think we learned very early on about people when you're traveling as well. Like, we don't sightsee when we travel. That's not what it's about for us. I mean, I have a big admission. We went to Brazil. We were staying in Rio for 3 months. It's the second time we've been there. We didn't go up Sugarloaf Mountain, and we didn't go to Christ the Redeemer.
We saw it.
We saw it from the beach. Like,
we cycled.
We're living there, and actually for us, it's more about the experience and being there and the people, and like that's a big part of it for us. And there was a question that someone was going to ask that I thought of, but have you seen something?
No, you go.
I've dried up.
Okay.
I'm looking to you.
Sonia says, Alan, I do have a fantastic Lego Technic car. It takes hours to build it. Just in case you guys ever travel to Germany, would you like to come out and build it with us? Yeah, Sonia, I will come and build the Lego Technic car one with you in Germany one day. That'll be awesome fun.
I thought what the question was.
Okay.
I can't remember who asked it. I saw it, but it was, how do we maintain or have friendships and close relationships when we're moving all the time?
It's tough. It's tough.
We didn't make any friends really when we were in Brazil, did we?
Well, you're busy.
Yeah.
I mean,
we accepted friends in, like Karen and Nick came to visit.
Karen and Nick.
That was amazing. They were like the first 3D humans we'd spend any time with.
It was incredible. Luciana says, did we feel safe in Rio? Yes, felt very safe. There were never any problems. It did feel a bit weird in Rio. They were having the BRIC convention, which is Brazil, Russia, India, China, Korea.
Doing is Korea, South Africa.
South Africa. And all the 5-star hotels, including the one we were staying at, had military outside. So suddenly we had large tanks outside our hotel for extra security. So that felt a bit weird, but we never felt unsafe. We didn't make many friends there, but we have friends all over the world. Such we've arrived in LA and we've got our friend Joel who lives up the road, my friend Travis who helped me out of my funk after the TV show incident. He lives in LA, so we're going to go and hang out with him. And there's just so many beautiful people around the world. I wish I had more time to spend with them all. I
do go like, I think I've said this before on Rebel Finance School, I go like the friendship home model.
Tell us what the friendship home model is.
The friendship home model is the purpose of like having these connections and friendships is to have like a deep connection, to have like feel like you've connected with another human. And I like to think of it as like a friendship one night stand. This is going to sound weird, but let me explain. If I meet someone and I just meet them once, but we have some like friendship chemistry and we're chatting away and we're having a great time and we feel like we've really spoken to each other, enjoyed each other's company, to me, like that's met my need for connection. Like whether I ever see that person again, like this, it might sound a bit cavalier, but like that doesn't matter. Like we had that connection, we enjoyed it, we had that humanness that we all need. And then like we say, okay, great, like had a nice night, thanks, bye. Like why it doesn't necessarily need to be like that you see them a lot, and it can be just the once. And I'm sure you'll know, like you've got friends that you don't see them for years and years or months and months, and then you
get together and you're like, oh
yeah.
wow, it feels like we've never been apart.
You pick up where you left off.
I think it depends on your definition of what a friend is.
Yes.
So my definition of a friend is someone that I have met and that I can go and hang out with and we have a lovely time together. Nowhere in my definition it says we have to ring each other every week. Nowhere in my definition does it have, like I have to text every day. Like I can be amazing friends with you and we see each other once every couple of years and hang out and it's wonderful and I love it. So I just like, I don't have that in my definition. So I guess that's my question to all of you. What's your definition of a friend? What rules have you put on friendship?
My brother had a rule that you couldn't be friends. If you had friends with someone at work, that wasn't a friend because like they're your colleague rather than a friend. And I was like, that's a very strict definition about things. And I think we all need to be very careful of the rules that we put on things. It's like you said, like a friend has to do X, Y, Z in terms of how many times you meet them, how quickly they have to respond to messages, how many times you have to text them. And I think the same with family as well. I think there's this like expectation that, you know, you're supposed to call your parents however many times a week, month. Like, why? Like, do you want to? Do they want to? Do you want to hear from each other? Like, why? We don't need to have these rules.
I love what Abster said. True friends are like stars. You might not always see them, but you always know they're there. Which I thought was a lovely expression. And then there was another one that popped up in the chat. What's it all about says, friends are people you can be yourself with, which like I think is a lovely way to think about it. Absolutely lovely way to think about it. Yeah, Gillian says, no rules, just be there for each other when either of you needs that, which I think is a beautiful thing. And that's how we feel about it.
Which I think is also important to remember to call on those people as well when you do need them, because I don't know if you're anything like me, it's like, well, I don't want to bother them, and like, but they want to be bothered. They want to help you if they're a true friend. Yeah.
Yes. So like you can make friends all over the world and it's incredible who you can meet. And then like I just have to make sure I'm not shy contacting them again, going, oh, you might have forgotten about me. It's Alan. Hello. I'm coming through town. Do you want to have a drink or say hello? And you just kind of like try and be friends, and that's it.
In terms of what have been good friendship generators for us are
Toastmasters, incredible friendship generator. There's other people who care about self-development and learning. Wonderful.
Board games.
Games.
Meetup.com is amazing. You can find people that have a similar interest to you that you can have whilst you're traveling.
Personal finance groups, the Choose FI groups.
Particularly in the States, Choose FI, there's lots of local groups that we can just tap into.
We're going to one on Sunday.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Pasadena group.
Saturday. And I know this doesn't, won't be true for a lot of people, and it's kind of a little bit more unique to us, but the fact that we run Rebel Finance School, and then people are like, oh, you're coming to me where I am, like, do you want to hang out? And that's so lovely, the way that we've like created this like network around the world of people that want to hang out. So we're meeting someone next week that has been watching the course.
Yeah, which is just wonderful when people reach out and say, do you want to hang out? So we say yes. There's Moira. She's waving. Yeah. Hey, Moira.
I didn't want to say Moira's name in case it was a secret, and then like she waved and I said it.
Away now.
I know, now the whole world knows. Oh my goodness.
Aaron says, do the Choose FI people talk about things other than money? What's interesting is when you meet FI people, they've normally figured out the money, and they actually like, once you get it, the money's relatively in like simple. Like, it's not easy, but it's simple. Invest your money in an index fund, like create a gap and invest it. And quite often they want to talk about the other stuff, like what's next and what are you doing and how do you feel about this? And you create an incredible connection that's outside of money.
It's almost like money and that interest is kind of a given. And it means that if you thought about money in that way and you're working towards or have reached financial independence, it's almost like your values are not perfectly aligned, but they're going to be pretty aligned in terms of you're thinking intentionally about how you want your life to be. Often it attracts people that are very interested in travel, definitely people that want to learn and grow. And when you have that in common with someone, like the money, like that's almost like not the interesting part. Yes, you want to learn from each other about how to get there and techniques and strategies and things, but actually the question more is like, how do you live a cool life and what are you into and what are your hobbies? Like, that normal question that in most society is like, what do you do for a living? I don't know what most of my friends do for a living. Like, I don't care. Like, that's irrelevant. It's like, how do you live a life you want to live and what are you doing with your time and how do you,
Do you remember when we met Ryan and Corey?
Tell me.
We made friends with this couple, Ryan and Corey. They were lovely. And we went to hang out with them in Texas and we had a great time in Texas. And then we were discussing finances and they told us about their monthly finance meeting and we told them about ours. And I said, can we watch yours? Can we do them together? So we actually met up and did our monthly finances together and they were like, here's how we do our spreadsheets and here's how we do this. And it was the most wonderful, like we spent the whole day together talking about finances and money and like, here's how we budget and here's how we do this. And it was so much fun. But I was brave enough to say, will you show us? And they said yes.
I think we've got like, we weren't as confident in those days about like sharing our stuff and we still had that like taboo thing around money. And I think they felt a bit weird about doing it, but they were like, well, we don't like, because we'd only just met them, it wasn't like we were part of their lives. It almost made it easier to share with relative strangers rather than people that you know. But yeah, we have to share with anyone now, aren't we? The whole world.
Corinne says, do either or both of you have ADHD? Sounds like a pattern of friendship I recognise in myself and other neurodivergent people I meet. Corinne, like, I'm pretty sure that I'm wired a little bit differently because I mix up letters and numbers, colours are weird for me and all sorts of stuff, but I hate labels. I absolutely hate the labels of ADHD and this and that and the other, and I do not want to be confined by labels. And I also don't care what other people's labels are. I want to like remove all the labels so you are not boxed and just love you for who you are and see me for who I am and forget all the labels. So people often talk about these kind of things about neurodivergent and ADHD and all of the different labels, and I just don't like them. I hate the labels, and I just want to enjoy you for who you are. That's it.
What else we got? Do we have some more nomadic type questions, or you seen something?
Can you do 6 monthly finance meetings? I really can't imagine a world where I sit down every month to do it, says Freedom Fighter.
Different time of the month, Freedom Fighter. What do you mean I only get to do it twice a year? I guess if you only look at your finances twice a year, excuse me, you could be like veering off course, and you've only got once every 6 months to course correct. That's why we look at it once a month, and I look forward to it. Like, it's our favourite time of the month.
Exactly.
It's amazing.
Fireman says, travelling around the world, do we still enjoy good quality chocolate? I would like to confirm that I have dark chocolate peanut butter cups from Trader Joe's.
I thought you got them as a snack.
They are amazing.
Just to bring, I was like, Alan, are you really going to start munching on the chocolate?
And then Stephen also said, is Alan munching? Yeah. I was munching throat sweets because of the food poisoning yesterday. I've lost my voice, so I'm just trying to coax it through, giving all my energy. But I feel so alive talking to you all. It's amazing. Lindsay says, American chocolate isn't the same, is it? Well, this one, Lindsay, these peanut butter cups are amazing.
They're very good.
They are so good.
They're very good.
Yeah.
Okay. What other questions we got, Alan? Should we go a couple more nomadic ones?
Leia asked about how much luggage do we have. I think we said that. Mark says, do you try and learn the languages for the places you stay in? I imagine knowing a few widely spoken languages, such as Spanish in addition to English, would get you very far.
Yes. I mean, we are obviously extremely lucky that we are native speakers of the international language, and it's bad, but you can rely on that quite a lot, especially in touristy places. We do our best I think back at the beginning, I used to be like, I have to learn the language of every country I go to. That becomes impractical when you go to lots of countries.
We've been to over 50 countries.
And so we make a point of making sure that we can say hello, please,
thank you.
Actually, normally it's hello and thank you, because we use thank you for please as well, because then you only need to use it. It sounds so lazy. But actually, you'd be amazed at how receptive people are when you just say those basic greetings, because they can tell you're not a native speaker of their language, and they're like, oh, these people are making an effort. It does affect the quality of the relationship and connection that you can have with people. So if you can't speak the language, even if they speak English, it changes things, doesn't it? That you can't connect in the same way. And we have found it is a lot harder to connect, obviously, when we don't speak the language, to make friends as well.
We speak Spanish and we speak English. So Spanish unlocks a huge portion of South America and different areas, and it is a fabulous language to learn. We used Michelle Thomas. His courses are fantastic for learning languages. So the Michelle Thomas audio was absolutely excellent. And that's how we learned Spanish. That has really helped us. We can have a 2 or 3 hour dinner conversation in Spanish without a problem. So that really unlocks a world for us. We haven't learned other languages other than English or Spanish yet. Colin says, what's your favourite food from anywhere in the world?
Oh my goodness, that is a tough question.
Colin, what a question.
I don't know where to start. Do you know what, actually? Because when we just moved from Brazil to LA, when we were in Brazil, we stayed in hotels for a long time. So actually, I was really excited to get here and to cook and to have home cooked food for the first time in months.
So we've eaten in
a poor answer
for the entire time we've been in LA so far.
We haven't eaten out yet, and that's very unusual for us, because we've been in hotels, or when we're traveling a lot, depending where we are. Some places we never cook in. Like when we're in Bogota in Colombia, we never cook in, because the food eating out is actually very good quality, and for us, good value. So what's your favourite food from around
There's just so many foods, isn't there? I don't think I can confine it. I love tacos. Some of the best tacos I've ever found are in Colombia, which the Mexicans will be very disappointed that I said that. But there's just so many foods. You just have to go and eat the best foods around them.
People are a little bit disappointed that we haven't said pineapple and we haven't said pizza.
It's obviously pizza.
Why have you not said pizza? You've literally not stopped talking about pizza in the whole Rebel Finance School. And now someone's literally teed that up on a plate, like literally a
Because I
plate.
can't eat pizza every day because I would get so fat.
Well, I don't think they're
asking. I love pizza.
I don't think they're asking you to exclusively eat pizza. The question was, what is your favourite food?
Okay, I love pizza. I love tacos. I love Mexican food. I love it. Mrs. Barley says, how long will you continue travelling for and where do you think you'll finally settle?
I love the embedded assumption that we will settle. That's very interesting.
Mark is showing us a Mexican man, I think, eating tacos. I love it.
Oh, very cool. Where?
We don't know how long we'll travel for. We're just enjoying it. And we're enjoying the experience and moving around. We have started more to want to slow down because there is a huge difference between fast travel and slow travel. Fast travel is like moving every few days and it's utterly exhausting, takes a huge amount of energy. And we moved too fast when we did the tour of the UK or the tour of New Zealand, and it was a huge amount. So we wanted to settle, and then you want to do like a month in a place or 2 months in a place and settle down a lot more. But our version of settling down is like a couple of months at the moment. Can I see us buying a house eventually? Maybe. But I just don't know when or how that would look like. When we left the UK, people were afraid, would you ever be able to buy back into the housing market? Because housing prices always go up. But we've had our money invested, and invested money grows far faster than the house market goes up. So we can actually afford a far bigger house now than we ever could when we left the UK. So it's really interesting. And I think if we travel for a few more years, we could afford any house we wanted.
I think I would find it hard to switch from like the freedom and flexibility that we've had to like, I don't know, maybe I've got commitment issues now. It's like I choose one place to live. That's weird. You're there like 12 months of the year. How does that work? Yeah, I think I'd find that odd. But I think, and people say, do you not miss having a home? It's like, well, I do have a home. I just like it changes a lot more frequently than most people. But I think we are both craving that stability. And yes, of course, there are downsides to being nomadic. Like, whilst you do have the flexibility, each time you move, you've got to set up and figure out where's the supermarket and how am I going to clean my clothes and where is this and where is that? And there's like a big cognitive overhead of figuring life out when you're there, but also figuring life out. Like, we have to constantly know where am I going next? Like, that's a project that most people don't have. And like, don't get me wrong, it's a cool thing to do. And it takes time and energy to do that. And sometimes that can be tiring, particularly if you're moving around a lot, which is why we're not.
Spoonsby says, where will we travel next?
Where will we travel next? Well, we have plans.
We have plans. We're not booked them all, but we have plans. We're staying here for 2 months in Venice Beach. We're off to Bogota, and we're doing the first ever Ninja Con. Which some of the rebel ninjas are coming out to hang out with us in Bogota, and we're all going to talk about what we can do to improve the course, change finances around the world and have fun, which will just be amazing. We think we're going to spend Christmas in Colombia, and then it's our friend's 40th in January, so we're going to go and meet her in Disney World and celebrate her 40th. And then we're going on a cruise with our friends Christy and Bryce in May, in Alaska, from Vancouver to Alaska. Karen very kindly helped us organise that, which is amazing. And then we're going to run Rebel Finance School from May till July-ish next year. And we're going to start it when we're in the UK, I think, and then run it from South Africa. That's roughly the plan in our heads. but it's not confirmed. And then after South Africa, we'll go to Australia and New Zealand next year. That's the plan, roughly. It's a big plan. Got to nail it down, and that's it.
How do we plan all that, Alan? Do we have a spreadsheet for travel, asks, time, rich, fi, or one that we use to plan our travels? We actually don't do it in spreadsheets, do we?
No. The tool we use to manage our life is called OneNote. It's like a free notebook tool, and it is amazing for organising things. So we've learned over the years to create project lists in OneNote, tables with the different project, the next actions, what we're doing, and basically that's how we manage and organise our entire life. It's a phenomenal tool.
We've got invited to spend Christmas and New Year in Antarctica with Freedom Fighter.
No way. Antarctica? That would be cool. Send us a message. Never been to Antarctica. Oh, Hiran says South African in the house here. Hello, Hiran. We'll come and say hello.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yes.
What else you got?
Do you find your plans pan out in reality, or do they get upended by life events? Mostly the plans seem to work out. Occasionally they change, but mostly they seem to work out. We're normally quite good at planning and making them happen. James and Bell says, do you plan on being nomadic forever, or is the plan to settle at some point? James and Bell, I think we'll settle at some point. I just don't know when. Angela says, would you ever do a Rebel Finance School conference? Yes, would love to. John from the group said he'd have a look at helping us find a venue for next year. If we could find a venue big enough to do a proper Rebel Finance School meetup, for a lot of us, I would love to do one of those. It would be amazing. So yeah, that would be really, really cool. Mark and Mal says, Alan, what do you do with all your Lego? Does it travel with you? Mark and Mal, you cannot fit a big Lego set in your bag.
You're not trying hard enough.
A second bag for my Lego. I have a couple of small models.
What do you mean you're not allowed a second bag for your Lego?
I don't allow myself. You're not being blamed. It's okay. And I have some Lego sets in Katie's parents' loft. So they are setting up in Katie's parents' loft. Caroline says, you can answer this one, Katie. I'd love to know who brought up the idea of fire first, and did the other one of you agree to it straight away, or did you need persuasion?
That reminds me of a question that we had in that someone said, how did Katie finally discover Mr. Money Mustache and get it to click so she changed her mindset? So I'm going to link it into that one. So I don't know whether to do the short, medium or long version of this story.
Medium.
Medium. We read a book called Money Master the Game by Tony Robbins. Do not read the book. You do not need to. It's 900 pages and it's about 850 pages too long. But he gave us the idea of index investing and knowing the target to set. So we talk about it as, how much you need in your freedom fund. He gave us that concept. We had never thought, how much do you need?
He had 3 different levels.
He had different levels, yeah. So we set ourselves a target and we were like, yeah, it sounds amazing, let's do it. Then I went weird, as so often happens. And I was like, this is weird. Why are we doing this? Why are we allowed to do this? Our friends aren't doing this. It's going to be weird. People are going to judge us. People are going to be upset with us. All of that was actually projected onto one friend that she doesn't think like that. Anyway, weird how we project our stuff onto people. So actually, in terms of who brought up the idea first, the origin of that's probably because you were a Tony Robbins fan, still are, and reading his books and there's a new Tony Robbins book out.
And I wanted to sort our finances based on the shit that happened with my dad. I'm like, I would never let that happen to us.
And then we told our friend Matt, who is a great friend that we made through Toastmasters, we read this book and this is what we're doing and we learned about this. And he said, if you like that stuff, there's a whole community called Financial Independence, and there's this guy called Mr. Money Mustache. He has a bit of a cult status. You should read his stuff. And he sent me this in an email, and I was like, oh, okay, very good, yeah. But never clicked on a link until a few months later, and I just happened to be looking through my emails. I never clicked on that link, and I read his stuff, like cover to cover, and basically spend all my spare time with him. And like, it just became like, why would you not? What, like, if you spend enough time with someone who believes that so strongly, this is the way to live your life, you're going to end up believing similar stuff. So then came the like revisionist period of the history of this story, that I thought, well, I'm the one that's into like the blogs and the podcasts and the FI world and the stuff, but it was only because I needed to immerse myself in that, because Alan was like, yeah, got it, let's go. So yeah, was that a medium-ish answer? I think
that was a good story. But basically, Katie went weird for a while, and we had a lot of like trying to come together to work on this, because I really wanted to do it. I really wanted to fix this money problem, because I saw how much pain it can cause when it goes wrong. So I absolutely wanted to fix it. Suzanne says, how do you guys do all this on 40k a year? Suzanne, when we retired, our budget was 40k a year. Our portfolio has gone up 2.3 times since then. So we retired with 1 million. We're now worth 2.3 million, and we spend way more than 40 grand a year. So our budget has gone up with our investments going up as well, because Disney costs a lot.
Does that mean you just like, when you get set your like 4% amount, then you can just keep putting it up with how much your portfolio has gone up with?
Past sequence of returns risk.
Helping the people out there to understand.
That's good. No, you don't just increase it, but there is a point you go past sequence of returns risk, and we don't want to die with the most amount of money in the bank. Like, money is a tool to create experiences, to do things with, to create the life you want to live. So if you have it, use it. So we used it to buy freedom, and now we use it to do cool things.
So kind of wrapping up on Suzanne's question of how do you do all this on £40,000 a year?
We don't.
We don't. And living nomadically is absolutely possible on 40 grand a year.
Yes.
Absolutely is. Even spending some time in more expensive countries as well. But there's this amazing concept called geo arbitrage. Well, two concepts. One, geo arbitrage, meaning different things cost different amounts in different places. So actually, I think Mark put this in one of his questions about the International Pizza Price Index. Pizza costs different amounts around the world. It's cheaper in Colombia than it is in the States. It's cheaper in Thailand, if you can get pizza in Thailand, than it is in Australia. Like, stuff costs less in some countries. So you can actually do it that way. And we're not on holiday, we're not on vacation. Vacation is expensive. If you were on vacation all year, it would be expensive. But there's, we're doing the slow travel idea where you're living in a place, you're most times have a kitchen, so you're cooking in. And so it absolutely is possible to do this on 40 grand a year. We're not doing that, but it is possible. And we know plenty of people that do.
CB says, Alan and Katie, how did you know that you wanted to travel full time?
Do you want to answer this one?
So for my 40th birthday, I wrote a goals list, and one of my goals was to write a movie. And I was thinking, where do I go to write a movie? Because Katie, for one of my birthdays, had bought me a course, which was how to write a movie in a month. I just never had the month to write the movie. So I was like, let's go away for a month and I will write the movie in a month. And I was like, where do you go to write a movie? If you wanted to write a movie, where would you go to write it? Where would you go? You could go anywhere in the world. Where would you go to write a movie? Mark says Italy. Frida says LA. Peter and Hannah got it. They said Hollywood. Bill Cunningham put Basingstoke. Bill, come on. Hawaii, Cape Town, Scotland, Portugal. I was like, Hollywood. I'm going to Hollywood to write a movie. Penge. I have not been to Penge, Trevor. So I was like, I'm going to Hollywood. We booked 2 months in LA. We lived on Santa Monica Beach. I wrote a movie. It was the most incredible 2 months. The sunshine, the food, the friends.
Who knew that the sky was that blue?
Who knew the sky was blue?
This is the relatable part, isn't it?
And it was amazing. And then we were traveling back from Hollywood, from LA to the UK. And that's when we did our finances on the plane. And we spent more money than we had ever spent in our lives living in LA at that point. It was so expensive, but we did our net worth, and we were worth more traveling back from LA, spent more than we ever spent, and our net worth was bigger having not worked. We were both on the plane going, how is this possible? And it's because the market had grown so much that, like, our spending was dwarfed by the increases in the market. And we're like, we're done. Like, we don't have to go back. And then we arrived back in the UK. The sky was grey. The taxi driver who picked us up, the car was grey. The buildings were grey. The taxi driver was grey. And I'm like, this is the most grey place I've ever existed in my life. And I don't think the sun came out for the first 5 days we were back there.
It's just the contrast, wasn't it, as well, you know?
And it was only the contrast. And I was like, I want to go out and experience more of the world. So that's what we did. And we're like, that was it. It was like, how quickly can we go back to traveling?
I think the other part of it was that I think we spent 5 months out of the UK in 2019. We're like, well, why are we paying double for this? Why are we paying for a home that we're not living in? And that sparked it as well.
Yes.
And we had friends, Christy and Bryce from Millennial Revolution, they at that point were full-time nomadic. And we're like, why? Oh, it felt like the natural thing to do. So that's what we did.
Yes, I think Mark in the chat commented, am I going for pineapple hair today? No, it's just like, I don't know what happened to that.
Alan, what happened to the movie? Where can we see this movie?
I have the movie. I have not done the final range of edits, but I might just put it on my website if anyone's interested to read it. So I might write a blog post in the next few weeks and you can read it if you would like to. I thought it was a really fun script. I had a huge amount of fun. Mark says my hair is naturally pineapple styled. I'd never thought of that.
Alan, did we decide not to have children? Says Emma, and a few people asked on the pre-submission.
Yeah, a lot of people said about children in the chat, so we're going to tell you exactly what we thought, and this is just our thoughts and our opinions. Basically,
because I think for context as well, someone's put in the pre-submitted questions as well of like, we shared what our goals were back in the day, and we had said that one of them was to have kids.
I always thought I'd had kids. Everyone was like, you make a great parent. I was a scout leader for 7 years, something like that. And I really enjoyed being a scout leader. I loved kids. I loved doing all that stuff. And I always thought I would have kids. And then my friend Mike had kids. And Mike was like, I've got a few hours spare each week. So I thought rather than get a hobby, we'd have a kid. So he had kids. And then he's like, I think for the first 2 weeks, he kept telling me, like, I don't know how to get a refund. There's nowhere to send them back. What do I do? And then he made his mission to help me see exactly what his experience of having kids was. And he would spend like an hour telling me all of the problems and then would say, of course, I absolutely love them and I wouldn't change it for anything at the end. But like in a one-word bit of like an hour tirage of kids stuff. And he basically, I think, made it his mission to put me off having kids. And he did. And I wasn't that excited about it. And I think I looked at my friends at that stage and not a lot of them with kids looked like they were that happy. And I definitely thought, this doesn't look that fun.
Do you want me to say my side?
Yes.
That's why you're looking at me. So I also assumed that I would have children because
that's the standard path.
That's what you do, isn't it? So yeah, when we met, we were like, okay, well, we'll have, the requisite 2 children. That's what we'll do. And we met when we were quite young. So I was 21, Alan was 26. And it was like, well, we'll get to that. We're quite young now. Let's do what we want to do now. So I had this deadline of, okay, when I'm 30, then we'll at least think about it. Like, we'll put that off to think about then. And 30 was approaching, and I was like, 35. That's when my brother had his kids. 35, that seems like a good age. And then 35 was approaching, and I was like, I don't want to. Like, I'm happy with our lives the way they are. And
we do love our lives.
And we both have nieces and nephews, so we, I know it's not, of course, the same, but some of the benefits of having young kids and now teenagers in our lives as well. So
my brother had triplets. He had 3 in one go. So I was like, well, mum's happy, and I can go and hang out with them if I want to.
And I think there's also a never say never thing as well. Like, if we do choose that we do want to have kids at some point in the future, then we could adopt. We could
do other things.
Like, there's plenty of kids that would need a loving home. So if we do change our minds, we see that as an option.
Yeah. Mark says, borrow other people's kids, feed them chocolate and send them back. That's Mark's top tip.
Give away your chocolate?
No, I wouldn't do
Only the cheap stuff. Was it ever like a financial decision as well for kids?
It was never a financial decision. We did repeat a couple of times, like having kids would mess up the spreadsheet, but it was never a financial decision.
That was like deflection.
It was more of a joke.
It was like, if people are like, when are you having kids? People always ask them, when are you doing the next stage on the standard life plan, so I can understand where you are and
when are you getting engaged, when are you getting married, when are you having kids, when you're buying a proper house.
So I think that was our like back off, like, doesn't fit in the spreadsheet, a way to be like, look, I don't really want to go into this. This doesn't fit in the spreadsheet, which we would, offhand kind of send people away a little bit with that question, with that answer.
Exactly. And if you have chosen to have kids, that is perfect too. The whole thing we do is like, there shouldn't be any judgment either way. Make a conscious decision, and whatever's right for you is right for you. Yeah. And you just support it and do it. And there are so many different worlds you can go down. And I think you can live any life you want to live, whether you're choosing kids, choosing this, choosing that, doesn't matter. I just like to see it as an actual choice. I am deciding to do this. I'm deciding to do that. It's a full choice. Angela says, since you spent quite a lot of time in Latin America, have you done any Latin dancing? No, we did go to tango classes in Brazil, and I really didn't enjoy it. I got bullied by the teacher, so we never went back. Alan and Katie, do you ever plan to go back to owning a home again? I think we've done that one, haven't we, with Lemmy?
We've done that.
Little personal, following on from your language skills, this is good.
You're not finishing any sentences.
No. Marta put her question. I saw Marta's in here. Marta, you ask great questions, by the way. Let's do this individually. Katie, what is your score for happiness now out of 10?
Oh, I love.
What keeps you from a higher score? Says Marta.
I love putting numerical things
question.
On such a subjective thing.
Brilliant question.
Of course we need numbers. It varies so much, doesn't it? So, like, day to day.
No.
Right now, in this moment, is a 9. In this moment, chatting to you and hanging out and having fun, it's a 9. When you're not here and you're not looking, and I'm not on like the buzz and adrenaline of talking to hundreds of thousands of people, is probably more like, I'd say, like a 7. Yeah. And
your base is 7. What keeps you from being a
the self-esteem stuff and the getting in my head and the arguments that I have with Alan.
Which is all rooted in self-esteem and historical training from school and families comparison. The biggest that's the reason we have don't compare yourself in the course so strongly, is because we know how damaging it is for people. It's crazy.
Sarah was a 6 before coming on the Zoom and is now a 9.
Sarah, go. 9. I love it. So this is the same question to all of you.
What about you, Alan?
What are you out of 10 in happiness, and what's stopping you getting up a number? I'd love to know. David Graham is 11. He's broken through the 10 barrier already.
Well,
he's not messing about, is David.
Hang on, we made an assumption that it was 0 to 10 as well, didn't we?
We did, but people have got there. There's a lot of 11s coming in, which I love.
What's your answer, Ellen? Where are you on the happiness score? And let's do kind of, not right now in this moment, but kind of, you know, a bit more generally than that, you know, in the last weeks or days. Or...
As a general rule, I wake up happy every day and I feel like I have a baseline of happiness. I'm a happy person. And then, like, I sometimes allow the world to take me down or lift me up. But I wake up with a baseline of like an 8. What could lift me higher is Katie believing what I tell her, that she is a wonderful, happy, beautiful human. Like, the biggest gift she could give me is her happiness. And that's what I want. That's all I want, is her happiness. So that's the biggest gift you could give me. So there you go. That's what would make my life better, is that. I love your results coming in. Thank you for sharing this with us. Like, Happy Saver's a solid 9. We've got 7s and 8s.
I don't think Happy Saver has a grumpy bone in her body. Like, she's always happy. It's amazing.
Sonia said, before the course, 5, after it an 8. That's awesome.
Caroline said, honestly, my happiness baseline has permanently improved since finding this course. I'm an 8.
Oh, I love that, Caroline. The positivity.
And equally, like, you know...
Jill says 6 some days. And the question, Jill, is what can we do to help you get to a 7 more consistently? Because that's the whole point of this, is to help each other to feel better every day. That's the whole point.
Angela says she's a 2 right now, and I'm usually a very happy person.
Oh, sorry, Angela.
Are you having a tough day? Yeah.
Was it our fault? What did we say?
It's a range though, isn't it? It's like we all have these like natural emotions, and you shouldn't ever expect to, you know, be like blissfully happy all the time. That's just not realistic in terms of like in the moment. I guess the word happy is a very tough word. Like, what does that even mean? And does it mean, it could mean content or grateful or fulfilled or satisfied? Like, it's such a, like, in and of itself, like, it will mean something different to all of us. And there was a book called Be Happy by Robert Holden that really helped me. I recommend that book.
Colin says, with SJP 6, having just put in my ISA transfer 9, which I thought was fantastic. Made my day, that one.
Okay, I'm going to switch tats because we had a question from Marta that she also pre-submitted, so I'm going to answer. Said,
Marta, your questions are amazing.
I love Marta's question. Marta said, Katie is amazing. She's very kind, thank you. She says, and you're half Polish, which is true. By which parent? Marta says, I'm 100% Polish. What Polish stuff and food did they introduce you to? So, yes, I'm half Polish. My dad is Polish. He was born in the UK. His parents, so my grandparents, were displaced by World War II. They ended up in the UK in like a refugee camp in the Midlands, and my dad was born there. He didn't speak English until he went to school aged 5. And yeah, so I used to visit my Polish grandparents and have, like, my grandma, her love language was food. Like, she would force feed me food. Put in the chat a G for grandma if your grandma force fed food on you. Is this a grandma thing? Is this a Polish thing?
My grandma did it.
Okay,
she would like eat more food.
It's a thing. It's a grandma thing. I feel like a little bit more acute in the Polish culture, but also I think because
mine was British, and she definitely fed me.
Okay, I'm getting a lot of G's.
Totally Portuguese to do it as well.
Any culture, okay. Kinga's saying it's a Polish thing as well, but it seems like everywhere. So we're getting yes for like India and Italy and Portugal.
Cockles and for Burnley Market. G with a Portuguese grandmother.
I think it's like, I don't know if it's like a generational thing as well, but just like, this is how I show my love. And I couldn't really communicate with my grandma sort of linguistically, verbally, because her English was not the best. I didn't and don't speak Polish. So that's how she showed her love. And we would go to her house and she would make these amazing, she'd spend days like preparing the food. She would hand grate carrots. Like, I just remember these plates of like grated carrots, and I loved it. I loved vegetables growing up. And I'd have pierogi, and she would do like cakes everywhere. Like, it was such a like great loving environment. And like, she went through a lot with what happened with her, like being displaced, and she was in a hard labor camp in Siberia with her parents. Like, she went through a lot, and she had a lot of tough, like, her mental health she struggled with for like her whole life. And she went through a lot. So it was nice to be able to connect at some level with her, like, if only food like the food, and we could feel that she loved us. It was really nice.
I love one of the comments that just said that happiness is increased because my hair is standing up on end. They went from a 9 to a 10.
Now, it might not look like it, but I did cut the angle your head. So this used to be really bushy, and then a couple of weeks ago we debushed, and I cut off the sides. But Alan was like, leave the top. Not sure why, but there we go.
Who knows? We'll get it all shaved off.
It might be time to wrap up soon. We've come in. It's been nearly 2 hours.
Yes, I've just been, but I don't know about you. This has gone really fast for me, and I've had so much fun. I absolutely love tonight. We had a couple more questions to do that we really wanted to do. Wester Molad, who we love, always love seeing him on YouTube, says, "Is there a charity close to your hearts? Betty Ford Clinic, Lego Clinic, Spreadsheets Anonymous, for any rebel that wants to make a donation as a thank you to all the time, knowledge and laughter you've given us."
What a sweet question.
There's an amazing question. My thought was, when our book comes out, if you're so moved, buy a copy and give it to someone who needs it. Like, help spread the word of personal finance. That would be amazing. That would be incredible. Robbie says, the course is free, and that is very generous. If Rebel Finance School was set up as a non-profit, I would donate to support the operating costs. Thank you, Robbie. I emailed the other day saying I'm paying Google for the privilege of downloading YouTube videos. I'd much rather give that money to Rebel Finance School. Until then, can I buy you both a coffee? Robbie,
thank you.
That's
Robbie.
Amazing. Of course you can. Or a slice of pizza, or just buy a copy of the book and give it to someone that needs it, or give it to your local library and tell them to give it to people. I think that's a great idea. Karen says, you've given me so much with this course and your wider content. This is my second year on a course, and my mind is blown with how much information you've managed to squeeze in with great detail. So thank you. My question to you is, what can I give back to show you my appreciation? Is there anything you would like from the community? Lego, jigsaws, a pineapple party? I've never heard of a pineapple party before.
This is going to sound like a really cheesy answer, but I think the greatest thing that you could give us is to take the ideas, take the ones that resonate with you, leave behind the things that you disagree with or think is a pile of rubbish, and do something.
And live it.
And do it. And be an example for others. And that would be so cool to the ripple effect of what we're doing with you that are here on the call, with your kids, nieces, nephews, parents, siblings, friends, to help other people with this stuff if you want. And that could just mean living your life as you want to, which it will be an example to others, to inspire them, to free them to live their lives how they want to, which may or may not be to do with personal finance and getting their finances in order. It might just be that they've always wanted to do something and they haven't, but they see you living your life the way you want to live, and they're inspired as well. So imagine that ripple effect. And I think that would be really cool.
And just have fun, go out and live life and go and have fun. And if we meet up, we'll share a coffee, we'll share some pizza. It would be amazing to hang out. We would absolutely love that. And we just love that you've shared the word, come on the course. And let us know in 5 years' time when you've hit financial independence, or you've gone traveling, or you've quit your job, or just send us a message and tell us what happens. It fills our heart with joy. What have you noticed?
Di said, I'm going to miss the live sessions. So are we, Di. I wish, why don't we turn the course from 14 weeks to 52? She said, worried I will lose some momentum. How will I sustain momentum? Any ideas?
Yes, plenty of ideas. Di, how to sustain momentum. Number one, find a buddy to do stuff with. Like, find someone to do your monthly finance meeting with, go to a meetup, organise a meetup. There's people you can do it with. Number two, make a commitment to someone else about what you're going to do, because humans in general will do more for other people than they will for themselves. So make a commitment now to everyone here about what you're going to do. Are you going to track your spending, do your monthly finance meeting, live your life? Make a commitment. And then three, keep coming back to the why. Your why is your motivation. Why are you doing this? What drives you? What fills your heart with joy? What are you trying to achieve? That is what's going to drive you forwards.
And if you are missing Monday nights and you fancy starting a business, growing your existing business, having a little side hustle, a little side gig, if you're missing us on Monday nights, it won't be us every week, but you can continue with the Rebel family. We're doing the Rebel Business School course, starts on Monday, and it's completely free, just like everything Rebel. Just go along, and that will be Monday and Thursday nights for the next 10 weeks. And even if you're on the fence, if you're not sure, just go along to the first session. It's available on catch up as well. So it doesn't matter what your schedule is, you can go along.
Angela says, when's the next Extraordinary Life course running, please?
Alan, when's the next?
Why are you asking me?
Because I don't know the answer to that. We do have plans to do it. We're not sure when, maybe the end of the year, maybe in the new year, not sure yet. We would really want to do one, because that one we did 3 years ago now.
I loved it.
It's been a while,
amazing.
And we've had
22.
So was it late 22? So nearly 3 years ago. We got so much more to give on that stuff, haven't we? We've learned more stuff over the years.
Living Intentionally says, my commitment is to make financial meetings every month and increase my income. Go Living Intentionally. That's fantastic. The Happy Saver says, massive thank you to you and the ninjas. Having done every single year, I think I can award myself a master's in personal finance. You two are amazing. I'll never stop sharing what you have created. Yes, Ruth, you definitely get a master's in personal finance. I can't award it. Someone who's probably good at these things should. Just what a day. Z says, how long before the videos be removed from YouTube? Z, last time we said the videos for Rebel Finance School will stay up till January. The end of January is what we said. Then there was a mini revolt in the Facebook group, and we left them up a little bit longer because people were like, why are you taking them down? So the aim is January, and then we'll see what happens when January comes around. And then I guess what's next for Rebel Finance School, where we're going, what we're doing. We are going to finish our book.
You see that with great resolve, this is going to happen. It's one of those things that can easily get moved off, isn't it?
Because it's not urgent.
We don't have a deadline. I mean, we've told people our deadline, and then that's moved on a little bit. But we got distracted with doing stuff. We thought we'd be writing it whilst we were doing the tour. Of course, that didn't happen. We were so busy meeting you and hanging out, which we love. So that's going to happen, and we have invested in some new techs and cameras and lights and things that we're going to up the production quality of our YouTube channel, and working with someone to help us to get our videos seen more broadly, so that we can help more people. 5 episodes
of the TV show, 5 episodes of the Money Makeover show that are being edited right now. Karen and Nick, who are in the chat somewhere, I think, flew out to Brazil to hang out with us. We did a 4-hour show with them where we grilled them on their finances, had dinner together and breakfast together, and it was amazing. And we've done 5 of those episodes. We're going to film a few more while we're here in LA. and we're going to do that. A few people have said, where can we get the book? It's not out yet, but it'll be on Amazon, available in paperback and Kindle, and we'll do an audio book as well that we will record ourselves, and we will narrate our own audio book for everyone.
That'll be fun. We'll wait till your voice is a bit stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got like the main things in terms of Rebel Finance School are the book and doing more of the money makeover shows and more videos in general for the YouTube channel, because we see that as a way to reach a much bigger audience. We just want to help and we want to reach more people, and we're using those two vehicles to do that.
Z says, what's the name of the book?
The Rebel Guide to Financial Freedom.
The Rebel Guide to Financial Freedom.
We see that as the it can then lend itself to a series: the Rebel Guide to an Extraordinary Life, the Rebel Guide to Jigsaws, the Rebel Guide to whatever. Then just to have that in the like family of books of the Rebel Guide to small business, whatever, like entrepreneurship.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Julia says Rebel merch, and a few people are like, where can I get hoodies? Where can I get the stuff? One day we will get round to do it. If anyone wants to help us do merch, please let us know, because I'd love to be able to have t-shirts. It'd be so cool. And
a few people have said about, are we going to do something like this for teenagers and young people?
Yes.
And yes.
There's a whole team on WhatsApp that we need to get together with who want to create a version for schools. And we would love to create a version for schools at some stage.
We've got a lead from Karen about the merch.
Excellent.
Let's chat, Karen.
We should talk. Yes, let's chat.
Should we wrap up, Alan? It's been 2 hours. I feel like we should let these good people go and live their lives.
So my closing thought or closing comment, what I would really like to give you is, I truly believe you can learn anything. You can learn absolutely anything you want to. So my question is, like, what's your biggest problem? And then we take that problem and we turn it into a question. And then that's the question we can answer and learn how to improve. And we will learn how to do these things. So I don't care what the problem is or what your question is. Let's turn that into a question and find it. Someone wrote in the chat, concentration is my problem. Well, then the question is, how might I concentrate, find focus, and have fun? Let's find the books on concentration, the courses on concentration, the latest people who study it, people who have phenomenal concentration, and ask them how they do it. Because you can learn anything you want to live and do. You can learn any skill you want to learn, and then you can build the life you want to build. And we would love you to do that, because there is no better thing than going out there, having fun and creating the life you want to live. And will it all go perfectly the first time?
Yes.
No, you are going to fail. You're going to have problems. You're going to have challenges. It's all going to go wrong, but that's part of the joy. Failure is part of the journey to getting where you want to get to. Did you have something to say to the wonderful people, Kate?
Hello, wonderful people. Like, a big thank you for being here, for hanging out with us, for wanting to hear what we have to say. Like, that feels so wonderful that we have this community of people that we want to hang out with and chat to, and you say you're going to miss us and we're going to miss you, and like, come back next year, come back and do Rebel Business School and come and do Extraordinary Life. And we're not the only ones talking about this as well. Go and continue your learning by hearing from other people. And there's so many amazing podcasts. You've got Ruth the Happy Saver and her podcast. You've got
Choose FI.
Wow. You've got Mr. Money Mustache's blog. There's so much material. Like, this doesn't have to be the end of what you're learning. And money and finances aside, the most important thing you can learn is to master your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, the meaning that you attach to them, because the rest of life will be so much easier if we can all just get out of our own way. And there's so many free online resources and things and ways and books and things to learn that. And we can point you to a bunch of resources, but the point is to do that. And that's my biggest challenge that I'm working on, and affects my happiness every day, for the negative of being negative, having that negative self-critic, comparing myself to Alan, to others, to the world, and coming up short. So working on my self-esteem and my self-worth, please do that for yourself as well. And it's a constant journey and improvement, and you're going to have bad days and good days. And please work on that, because then that's what it's all about.
The biggest gift you can give to the universe is your happiness. So please work on that for us. It's been incredible. Love you all. YouTubers, I always forget to say, please hit like and subscribe if you're on YouTube. I'm like the worst YouTuber in the world.
Someone lovely person. I don't think they were even a ninja. Apologies if it was a ninja, but they said, like, please hit like and subscribe. It's amazing.
Someone did it for me. It's absolutely amazing. So YouTubers, thank you for coming. It's lovely to see you all. Fireman69, I'm going to miss your comments. Colin, Bethany, Al Hanley, AJ Lane, Ruth there, Colwinda, Laura, Spoonsby, what's it all about? Like Western Molad here, Paul, DPX73 from Star Wars. He is a droid. It's been confirmed. We saw pictures the other day.
What pictures did you see?
I don't know. I completely made that up. Love you all. I'm going to miss you. YouTubers, good night. You are phenomenal. Love you, YouTubers.
Bye, YouTubers.
No, you hang up. Okay, I'm ending the stream. Good night, YouTubers. Good night, good night, good night. Thank you. Okay, you are now safe on